guys, welcome back to another Year on a Mountain adventure. Today I'm wanting to have a look at a bit of kit which NIGHTCAT have kindly sent through to us. They're a great company to deal with actually, and it's a very rare combination to get A, very good company to deal with, B, good quality gear, and C, very budget friendly as well. They kindly sent out the ultralight trekking pole tent for us. I've got a video on that. I'll put it up on the description for you so you can link onto that one. And also they sent us the 4-in-1 hammock, which is a fantastic bit of kit. So true to form, you know, the other things which I've looked at from NIGHTCAT have been fantastic, and this time they've sent us the 3-man family tent. Now this is something a little bit different. I haven't even opened it up from its package yet, so it's still exactly as it's come straight from NIGHTCAT themselves. So we're going to have a look at this today, see what it's like. We're in the heart of Northumberland. It's a glorious day. We're at the back end of November now, and it's probably about 12 degrees. It's absolutely glorious. So before this starts to change, let's get this opened up and we'll have a look. Right, well, as soon as we open it up, the first thing that really I notice is the actual quality of the material. It seems very good. That's the first thing. So needless to say, of course you've got the outer, and they've sent us this one, which is the kind of coyote brown, which is great. I like that. It comes with the inner, complete with bug net as well, as you would expect. You get your poles. I think it's a 3-pole tent, this one, which certainly seems pretty robust. So here's your poles, again as you would expect. And no tent is complete without the actual pegs themselves. Remember guys, these aren't going to be Delta pegs. This is budget stuff. This. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pegs as well. Lightweight stuff. Right, let's get it laid out and let's see how this thing goes up. This is the first attempt, so we'll see how easy it is. So that was mega easy to put up, and as you can see, once you've got the fiberglass poles in, it's somewhat geodesic, which means actually if I hadn't pegged it out, this whole thing could be moved around and put into your perfect position, which is great. That's a nice feature. I do like that a lot. The other thing which I particularly like is zips. I'm a big stickler on zips on tents. Some of them can be very feminine to snag. These zips on here are fantastic. They're very strong, very durable, dead easy. They're not going to snag at all. So now that the inner's up, it probably gives me a good opportunity just to get an idea of the actual size of this thing as well. And the door opens up almost completely. You've got a fantastic access point into the tent. There's only the one door, but you actually only need the one. This is quite a nice feature as well, guys. The actual door itself, the inner that is, can be rolled up, nice and taut like that. An ideal, got a little clasp which goes onto the pole itself, and that holds it up nice and taut. Oh, it's like a palace. That's me sat up. I'm 6 foot, and there is absolutely bags of space. Do you know what? Through the summer, on a beautiful night where you know the temperatures are good enough, it would be fantastic just to have this lovely panoramic kind of sunroof and just leave it with the inner. Absolutely class. Great access to the zip straight away, and you can tell that actually the build quality of the material inside here is absolutely great. let's have a look at the actual size of it. So this is lengthways. Yeah, perfect. Any amount of space there. And obviously this way, which is the longer way. Absolutely bags of room. Bags of room. So inside, you've got a pretty decent pocket here as well, which is great. And on the other side, so you do have pretty good storage. There's actually only the 2 pockets. Seeing as it's a 3-man tent, it would be nice to see a 3rd pocket. But 2 pockets are going to be more than sufficient, that's for sure. There's bags of room, you know, you would have your bag and various other things in here as well. What I have noticed as well is the bathtub is quite high as well, which is great. But also you'll notice the white kind of plimsoll line, if you like. Now that is completely blocked off material. It's not the mesh that you see there. So in actual fact, as you're lying down the low level, that will actually give you a little bit more wind protection as well. Whereas the rest of it, with it being the mesh, will really make a big difference with regards to airflow, and it should stop all the condensation in here as well. The bathtub itself is made of Oxford cloth. I'll put the details in the description for you as well, just so you know. And this is 3,000 static, 3,000mm static head units. A lot of the kind of 1-man and 2-man tents, the bathtubs are usually kind of 5,000 to 8,000 static head units, or 8,000, 5,000mm protection. This is 3,000, but you know, this is not a 4-season wild camping tent. This is a family tent. You've got to remember it. You know, and for around about the £100 mark UK, for a family to get away in this, there's absolutely bags of room. You can definitely get 3 people in here. In fact, arguably, I think you could probably get 4 adults in here. I think it will be a little bit snug, but I think there's plenty of room. It's good to see a good, strong lantern hanging point there as well. I'm really impressed with the size, and I think for a family tent, that's what you want, isn't it? You want comfort. You don't want to be too snug. So when it comes to putting on the fly sheet and for the corners, what I would do is just loop it around and put it under the peg itself, and then it can be placed nice and evenly there. And that should give you something quite bow tight. Well, that was very, very easy, and I was kind of half thinking putting the fly sheet on, a fly sheet of that size with just myself was going to be quite difficult. But in actual fact, the knack is to line up the door of the fly sheet to the door of the tent, obviously, and then all you do is you just drag the back over and it falls nicely into place. You can just see there as well, in actual fact, once the fly sheet's on, it's not a 4-season tent. I would probably say comfortable enough in 3 seasons in the UK, certainly anyway. And in actual fact, the fly sheet does sit quite snug to the ground as well, which is going to be great. So once we've got it up like this, the next thing is to do is to put the final pole, the 3rd pole in, which is quite an interesting configuration. And actually what it does is it forms your porch area and what looks like a huge vestibule. So we'll get that up now. So folks, at the side, that 3rd pole clasps onto that loop there, and then it folds kind of inside up onto this top platform here, which will form a very large vestibule. Well, there we go. That was actually very, very easy as well. So that now is absolutely bow tight, which is exactly what it should be. And I'm going to open it up now so we're going to have a look, a proper look, and have a look at the inside. Let's see the vestibule. Let's see what space we're working with here as well. Looks class. The only thing I would say is the NIGHTCAT logo. On the previous gear, the NIGHTCAT logo had been reduced in size, but this one's got a massive anime cat on it. Maybe it takes away from it a little bit, but maybe you could do something with that. At the end of the day, I'm not really too fussed. For the sake of 100 quid, you go camping with your family, big deal, not the end of the world. And if you've got bairns as well, they'll probably love it. Right guys, we're inside. Do you know what? As I've been noticing, this thing is absolutely rock solid as well. I'm really genuinely impressed with this. Like I've said on loads of the videos, just because a company sent us a gear doesn't mean I'm gonna you know, just say it's good for the sake of it, you know, because they've sent us it. If it's crap, I'll tell you it's crap. This is absolutely class. I'm well impressed with this, really impressed. Now that I've got this all kind of set up, the size of the vestibule here, you know, if you've got your family with you, you've got loads of room here. There's probably a good meter there, I would say, on both sides. You've got this whole area here, which obviously, you know, in bad weather, if you've got the door down, you've got bags of space for cooking, to put your bags. You could definitely have a rucksack there, rucksack here. You could probably have a rucksack down the side. Certainly more than adequate for 3 people, that's for sure. Really, really good. And like I said, the whole thing it's a real solid structure. This, I dare say, would hold up very, very well in relatively strong winds, despite the size of it. In actual fact, it's very much a teardrop type of shape as well. So if you're pitching this with the wind behind you, that means you're going to be protected. It's much more aerodynamic, and you've got bags of room in here for the family to do some cooking, or even some games, or, you know, whatever you want to do. It's absolutely top class. On the inside, incidentally, a lot of the kind of touch points here, where you're attaching the outer to the inner or to the poles, there's just a basic bow which you need to do. And what I would always do is just loop it through 3 times, and then when it tightens up, it's not going to slip, which makes life a lot easier for you. But this is really, really good gear. This really good. Well impressed. Well, now we're inside with the door closed down. The amount of space that you've got in here is absolutely tremendous. There really is bags of space. And this vestibule, you could almost lie in the vestibule itself. There's certainly loads of space. And on the corners here as well, you've got the airflow points, which really do make a big difference. Obviously, the airflow is really, really critical in spaces like this, especially, you know, when you've got warm temperature inside the tent because of 3 bodies, and maybe slightly cooler on the outside as well. Now the inner is very much separated from the outer. In actual fact, it doesn't touch at any point, so you shouldn't really get any ingress at all. But I'm going to really look forward to getting this tested out. Very, very impressed. Having this kind of space when you're used to a one-man tent is absolutely fantastic. It's worth its weight. Now what you got to bear in mind, I've said, right, you know, kind of through the video, talk about bang for your buck. This is about 100 quid, 109 quid I think it is. It depends where you get it from. I'll put the link on for the description. Go and check it out on the NIGHTCAT website. I can't speak highly enough of this, to be honest. For what it is, let's not get mixed up. It's not a 4-season tent. It's not a Hellyberg. You know, it's not a tarp tent. It's not a small kind of lightweight tent that you would take up the mountain. It's a family tent. It's a 3-person tent, you know, and for what it is, you've got the waterproof. It's relatively light in as much as for what you get. I think it's about 3.5 kilograms, which isn't the end of the world. You're probably not going to be hiking miles and miles and miles with this type of thing. But even if you were, you know, you could manage that kind of weight, especially if you've got other lightweight gear for maybe through the summer as well. All in all, it's an absolute belter. So guys, the only other thing that I would say about this is it does have another feature, and that is you can have this out as a porch using a trekking pole. Now you're going to need a guy line for that. The tent doesn't come supplied with the guy line to do that, and I think if this is part of a feature, it should really have that as well. It's not the end of the world, but if you are going to get one, get yourself some extra guy lines, you know, or some cordage of some description. And if you've got your hiking poles, or if you've got you know, some branches from the woodland or wherever you're at, you can have this out, because that would be absolutely fantastic as an external porch, which would give you more protection against the elements as well. So guys, all in all, I don't think you can go too far wrong with this bit of kit. For the money, for the purpose of it, the build quality, the airflow, the pack down size, backed up with NIGHTCAT are a fantastic company to deal with, and I'm not just saying that. They're really good guys, and they show that on the warranty of the products. If you're not happy with it, send it back and they'll do a replacement or a refund. They are good guys to deal with for sure. So what would I give this out of 10? I think all things taken into consideration, I think it's an absolute solid 8 out of 10. A couple of little things I've mentioned about the external porch. It hasn't come with the guy lines. That's a little bit of a letdown. And the only other thing that I would really like to see is, instead of just these kind of cordy tie out points on here, which are a little bit fiddly, they could have easily just maybe put just a little clasp on. It's a minor point. And maybe the only other thing is these are fiberglass poles. It might have been nice to see aluminium poles, which obviously most, if not all, tents come with now. But I mean, I've got this thing absolutely bow tight, and it's absolutely solid, and I can't see that these are bending or under any kind of stress at all. So all in all, yeah, solid 8 out of 10. Good work, NIGHTCAT. Absolutely top class. So what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm in the heart of Northumberland, and it's an absolutely beautiful day considering we're nearly into December here. I'm going to knock myself up a hot chocolate. I've got some Scottish tablet here as well, and I'm just going to sit here and soak up the atmosphere here in the little small patch of woodland here. I hope you've liked the video, guys. If you do want to see more, I've got some other reviews on various other tents. Links in the description. Have a look on some of the playlists under reviews. If you like what you're seeing, give it a thumbs up. If you feel like subscribing, that would be great. It all helps the channel grow. I'm not doing this for any sponsorships or, you know, anything like that. This is really just cataloguing, you know, my adventures out in the wilderness and various other things, with the odd kind of tent review kind of thrown into the mix as well. But it's nice to see the channel grow over time as well. Any comments that you've got, stick them in. Any questions that you've got, you know, send us a message. You can find us on Instagram as well under Yonder Mountain Adventures. Send us a DM. Happy to help, happy to answer any questions that you might have as well. And if anybody else had got some experience of this, it would be interesting to see what you guys have come up with as well. So, as always, folks, forget about getting soaked up with the TV and the news and the doom and gloom and the radio and the newspapers and Facebook and all of that kind of rubbish. Get yourself out, soak up some prescription nature and beautiful places such as this. It makes a world of difference. So, until next time, folks, all the best, and we'll catch you on the next Yonder Mountain Adventure.